In this video, we're going to play some Age of Fantasy solo play, one-page rules. Hi guys, welcome to another MJ Hobby Corner game. MJ here, and today I will be playing Age of Fantasy solo play, and I have a little warband, Saurian warband, that I changed a little bit for this game from my last game, and have new enemies too. So let's take a look at the board and then describe the units and get this game going. Okay, so we're in this really dense forest. Here is a stream. Okay, there's a stream running down the middle of the forest, and it's very thick. There we have a creepy tree, a very thick forest. It is also a forest that's laden with magic, so there's a lot of magic. There's my warband. We have this vulture here, still picking on the bones of some creature. All right, some more bones there. All right, and that vulture really doesn't do anything. He's just terrain. I could move him, you know, whichever way I want if I need to. He's just there for show. And then past the stream here, we have the orcs. Now, you'll notice that this time I'm deployed here in the corners of the table. That is another new kind of deployment that you get when you get the full rule book from One Page Rules Patreon. So I'm going to try out that deployment for today. So orcs, my enemy, have that corner, and my Saurians have this corner here. Okay. Also, there is a battlefield condition here in this board, and the battlefield condition is magical winds. I give an advance order. I move an extra D3 inches. If I rush or charge, I have to move an extra D6 inches. Okay, so there's some kind of magical wind going on here that really pushes our units forward. Let's see, the other thing, last thing that I'm going to do is I have two extra actions, not just the regular actions of advance, rush, and charge, or hold. Those are the four standard actions. I also am using hunker down and focused fire. Those are two extra actions from the Patreon. I just chose two of them so as not to confuse myself too much. So hunker down is -2 to enemy shoot rolls, may be used to stop wavering. Okay, and focused fire, I don't move, but I can shoot with +1 against enemies that are 12 inches away. So that benefits my archers. All right, let's introduce the warbands. Playing with 200 points of Saurians. And here I modified a couple of things. First of all, I gave myself archers. Saurians don't normally have archers, but they do in my warband. They're pretty much like Goblin Archers. They're not the best, but they're archers. So I have a unit of 3 archers. I have a Raptor Rider, a Saurian Mage, which is a little different because this is a Saurian with dragon blood, and so he's very draconic and very big. He is basically a Saurian warrior, and then upgraded with a few things like Wizard 1, and he's also much more expensive. He's about 50 points, thanks to the Wizard 1, a hero, and I believe Fearless is what I gave him. Then I have my warband leader, who is a veteran chief, and his name is Tyrant Khaan. That is my leader. And then we have okay, and I had the wrong unit on the board, so I had to fix that. Froglings, and these are very much like geckos or chameleons. They're just an extra little unit that I added to fit the story of my world. And these little froglings, they are a unit of 3, and nothing really special about them. They're just an extra little fighter unit that I added to the warband. All right, so that is my Saurian warband. And today they will be facing orcs and goblins. All right, so we have a Goblin Archer unit of 3. We have 3 hobgoblins. Okay, and that's the hobgoblins right there. There's one, another one, and another one. And then we have the Orc War Boss, or Boss, right there with the big axe. We have 3 warrior orcs. One of them has like a little imp or something riding his shoulder. Converted that model. And then 1 boar rider. So we have an Orc Boar Rider as well. All right. So they are deployed on that side of the board. Okay, so on the board, here's one objective. Okay, that's objective F. Here's one objective. Another objective, and that's G. Okay, here's another objective. Another one. So we have a total of 5 objectives on the board. Okay, and this objective is different. E is a holy monument. Okay, and there's the little skull. I thought it was perfect for this. So it's a holy monument, and any unit that controls that objective gets +1 to their melee rolls in addition to whatever bonuses that they have. Now, this objective benefit comes from the One Page Rules Patreon for Age of Fantasy. So I'm trying out some new things from the Patreon in this game, okay? So that's the only objective, though, that has that sort of benefit. And remember, to control an objective, you have to be 3 inches away. You can be up to 3 inches away from the objective and have no enemies near you. No enemies within 3 inches of it either. So, okay, so that's controlling objectives. Okay, to start off round 1, I am rolling initiative. Black dice is orcs, blue dice is my own. Let's see, takes initiative. Oh, I get a 2. So the Saurians will take round 1. See you at the turn description. Summary, rather. Okay, so this is a little summary of what happened, what's happening in round 1. First ones, I got the initiative, so I moved my Saurian Archers right here, right by the vulture there, who's too busy picking bones, doesn't really care about them. And then in order to decide on who to move for the orcs, I have this little system, little dice with the numbers on each of the units, and this was number 3. Okay, so that's the leader, and basically I just roll the dice, and whatever result I apply, you know, that's the unit I'm going to move. And it turned out to be him, the leader, the boss, and he was in rush range of the objective, so he basically just rushed over here. Now, I'm also including the magical bonus, the movement, which got him there. This is rough ground, but because of the magical bonus and everything else with the leader, I was able to move through the stream. He should probably be a little bit back more, actually. That's more accurate because this takes away some movement, okay? But he still was able to get to the objective marker, and the orcs are now pending a victory point. Okay. Okay, and still round 1. Tyrant Khaan has moved here. I gave him a rush move, and then plus magical winds gave him an extra inch of movement, so he's in front of the archers. And then our orcs, the Boar Rider was the result that I rolled, and so he rushed towards the closest objective through the forest there. And then with magical winds, he moved closest to that a monument. So he gets not only does he get the victory point, he does get the bonus, +1 bonus for melee attack. Okay, so round 1 still, and my Raptor Rider moved here. He's obviously going to try and cross the stream, get at some objectives there. Okay, and then the Orc Archers were the ones that were chosen randomly. Put their dice over here since I rolled a 1. And then they rushed towards the nearest objective, which was there. And they went alongside the stream, which is the easiest way. And now they're also poised to take a point at the end of this round. So Orcs are pending 2 points versus me, 0. Not good. So let's see what happens if I can even that out. And going on to the next unit. By the way, the Orcs are using the hybrid decision tree for the AI. So I will mention that later post-game. Okay, so my mage claimed first blood. My dragon mage right here. There's that unit of orcs right there. They were in line of sight. And so he did the spell Serpent Egg. It's a 4+ to cast. He cast it successfully. It caused 4 auto hits on the unit. They still get to defend themselves, so they rolled their defense roll and failed all 4 dice. So that means that 2 orcs are destroyed, since that is a unit, and then 2 wounds are go past to that last orc there. And now I'm going to roll on the wound check table to see what happens to him. Okay, and here is the wound check for that orc, and he's at he has 2 wounds, so I have to add 2 wounds to the roll. He rolled a 2 and 2 is 4, and so he is stunned. It is a stunned result. So, all right, I'm going to mark him a good roll here on round 1 from my mage. So I'm going to mark that unit as stunned. Okay, and so all my guys have moved. Round 1. Round 1 is almost over, and I'm using this technique to avoid getting too many markers cluttering the board, and then things get confusing. And plus the board is nice when you don't have all the markers and stuff. So every card is going to have the markers, so I'll know what's what. And these are activation markers, okay, the gems. So for this orc unit, I could do, you know, a roll of 1 through 3 and say it's number 2 that moves, or 4 through 6 and say it's the little goblin shaman that moves. But I did roll a 5, so I'm gonna just move the shaman, and then the last one I don't have to roll, they just move automatically. The orcs, this is the last 2 units before the round ends. Okay, so round 1 is over, and we have the mage rushed over to the nearest objective, which is that, and then with magical wind got an extra inch, so he's just at the bank, river bank there. The hobgoblins have advanced into the river, again moving towards the closest objective, but it's rough ground, and so now they're balancing on the stones, and kind of very precarious move there. And even with magical winds, they didn't advance much up the stream. They're just kind of like falling and slipping, and yeah, not a good move. All right, so that ends round 1. However, bad news for me. The orcs get 1 point. The orcs get 2 points. The orcs get 3 points, and of course he has a +1 melee while he's near that objective. Saurians get 1 point, thanks to my froglings. And that is all. 1 point. I'm still too far from this objective to score anything. So, orcs 3, Saurians 1, round 1. So my froglings charged into the Boar Rider with magical wind and everything added. So, successful charge. Let's see. So they have a hand weapon with attack 1, and there's 3 of them, so 3 dice. And they need 5s, and 2 6s are rolled. So yes, they did well. All right, and the Boar Rider defends with 2 dice for the 2 hits at 4+. 3 and 3. No, 2 hits go through. He has to roll on the wound check table with a +2. So he rolls. If he gets a 6 or over, he's done. A 5 + 2 is 7, and the Boar Rider is taken out. Just like that. That's a good thing, too. So maybe I can turn this around this round. Maybe. So my froglings are croaking with joy. All right, moving on. Okay, as much as I would love to have my froglings successfully kill that Boar Rider, let's go back a minute. The Boar Rider has a spear. He also has the phalanx special ability that comes with the unit. And that means that really he can't count as being charged because he has the phalanx special ability. Meaning my guys will not be able to charge him the way I did because of that impact roll. So I'm just going to move back my guys. Now I could make a rush move. Let's just try to get these guys as close to where they were as possible. He was kind of around here. So he's still in scoring mode. Okay, so that death is not going to count. So I can't charge him, but I could rush. So after crossing the bank, I'll just move them another 6 inches, which was... There you go. I'm going to move them another 6 inches and see if I can stay within 3 inches of the objectives to deny him the objective. Of course, he can charge me if he wants to next turn whenever he activates. Yeah, and they are within 3 inches according to the measuring stick. So, all right, so we redid that because, again, that special rule, the phalanx rule, the unit does not count as charged. So I needed like 12 inches to get to him. So I'm not going to be able to do that. So instead, I'm going to rush after I got out of the bank. And that'll put them there and at least deny the points. Okay? So we want to be fair because, you know, that's the fun of it, is being challenged. So he's okay. He's not dead. We rewinded time. Okay? And now... this orc here is stunned. I placed him on his side to really remind me that he's stunned. He is idle for this turn. And so I gave him a marker. He still activates even if he's idle. And so that's that. Okay, so my archers move a total of 6 inches. That's in advance order. And then there is the knockdown orc within line of sight. And so they're going to take a fire. They have an 18-inch range. They're well within range. So they're going to take a shot at that knockdown orc. If I can hit, he is out of the game. Guys, no, a miss on the archers. So he stays on the board, and at the end of this round, he gets up. Oh man. All right, so that was a miss. Okay, so speeding up round 2. And I'm going to do the same for next turn. Boss here, the war boss, the orc boss, charged into my archery unit, but did not do anything, thankfully. So they're okay. And then my tyrant charged into the boss. And he did 3 wounds to the boss. But boss has tough 3, so he doesn't roll on any table until next round. So he's okay. My mage rushed over here to secure that objective. And the vulture flew over here because there's just too much movement around his bones. So he's just there. The hobgoblins moved up the bank, slipping and sliding, but they managed to get to that objective. As there were no enemies around, they just rushed towards the nearest objective. My frogling there is stunned when the Goblin Archers moved here, and they took an advance order according to the hybrid AI, but then with magical wind it pushed them a little further. They were able to shoot into my frogling, and he is now stunned. And then this orc stands up at the end of round 2. He is no longer stunned. We now move to round 3. I finished first, so Saurians get the next turn. They move first in this turn. And there's a nice view of the board. I'm just going to give you guys a nice little view of the board. It's a cool board. And let's move on. But first, before we move on, okay, he is about 3 inches away from there. So that's 1 point for the orcs. 2 points for the orcs. No point here. And for me, no points anywhere around here. 1 point for the mage. And that's it. No points there. And do I have... Oh, orcs get another point because the goblin shaman moved right through to that objective. Let me check something real quick, however. Okay, so goblin, what he managed to do was just avoid me from getting the point, because I have my lizard, my raptor rider right there. He is 3 inches away from the objective, but the goblin rushed over here and with magical wind pushed, which he has to move, pushed himself 3 extra inches, and he now landed there. So no point for me. So basically orcs get another 2 points this turn, this round. And I only get 1 point. Oh, man. I'm just going to check something real quick. And yes, he's well within range. So, all right. So orcs 2 this round, me 1. Orcs get a total of 5 points. Saurians 2 points. And we're at the end of round 2, beginning of round 3. I don't know. It's not looking good for me. All right, round 3. I move first. Okay, a bloody round 3 for sure. First and foremost, the Orc Boss took 5 hits from my leader. He had AP1. He also has Predator, which gives an extra attack for any natural 6s rolled. He did roll 1 6, so that was 6 hits. And of course, the Orc Boss had 3 wounds already. So he was out, basically massacred there by that giant scimitar. So the Orc Boss was out. My mage moved through the rough ground, fired a Serpent Egg, which is a pretty powerful spell, but he rolled poorly. He was able to kick the spell off by rolling a 4, but then only rolled 1 hit. So he did not defend, and 1 hobgoblin was destroyed, the uglier one of the 3. So the Goblin Mage decided, according to the AI, to rush from this objective to that objective. But in the process, he kicked off a defensive spell to a friendly unit, which is still 12 inches away, and it was regeneration. So they have regeneration, these little goblins do, for this last round. And the goblins tried shooting at my raptor, but no, they were unsuccessful. And, okay, so now for this round, points. I am not 3 inches away from the objective, so unfortunately, I cannot stop him from scoring. I have to be at least 3 inches away from the objective. No enemies 3 inches away from him, so he gets to score. Also, this pig rider here, he killed my frogling. The last of the froglings. All right, so orc point. Orcs get another point here. 2 points. 3 points round 3. And me 1 point. So, yeah, orcs are well in the lead, despite the fact that I am doing a lot of damage to their army. I mean, it's been a very bloody fight. But, you know, they're still holding objectives very well. So let's play the last round of this game and see what happens. And the Saurians finished first, so I get to go first this final round. Alright, so my Tyrant leader goes first. He's going to be given an advanced order. Now I can't charge because there's this thing in the way here, so I'm going to say that he just can't charge. There's this rock in the way, and that's it. There's a couple of enemies there, so he's going to halt right there. Alright, rolling to see who on the orc side takes a turn, and I rolled a 4. Okay, so a 4 puts me here. 4 or 5 puts me at the Goblin Shaman. So Goblin Shaman's going to take a turn. Alright, let's see. We got to look at the AI, and this is the hybrid tree. Any objectives not under the AI's control? Yes, there's one over there. Go to step 2. Are there enemies in the way? Not really. There's friendlies in the way. So that's the same choice that I had before. He's going to go back to that objective. No. Go to step 3. Is the objective in rush range but not in advanced range? Definitely in rush range. So yes, rush towards objective. And I am going to let him kick off a spell. Well, he already put a spell on these guys. So really, he can't do a spell either. He's going to rush over. And archers go. And guess what? I'm going to give them an advance order. Moves them right into the water there. So, of course, that is rough ground. I don't think they have Strider. I'm going to check, but I don't think they do. I don't think they have Strider. So they're in the water, but, of course, magical wind. We got to roll for that. It's crazy when you add, like, special events to the battle, like how it changes things, even something simple. So, rolled 4, they have to move the 2 inches. And I can choose where the 2 inches, where they move, but they have to move another extra 2 inches. It's like D3 when you're advancing. And oh yeah, and by the way, he was supposed to move another 2 inches somewhere, so I'm going to put him there because there's terrain all over the place. But he was supposed to move another 2 inches because I rolled a 4. So in total, that was 4 inches. I only moved them 2 inches. I was doing D3 for the rush. It's supposed to be D6 inches for rush. So whatever I roll on the dice, that's the number of inches whenever he rushes. So we actually went back, still within 3 inches of the objective. Now the little bastard is in cover. So that totally changed my strategy here. Yikes. Okay, so are there any objectives not under the AI's control? Yes, there is. This one is basically not under the AI's control. That's really bad for me because my Raptor Rider is not in the way of his action to go that way. So he's going to have a rush action towards the objective. And I think the game is already set. I'm not going to do the other turns because, I mean, orcs, they pretty much take it. And even with a little bit of rough ground there, that doesn't matter. Magical winds kick in. Let's see if magical winds push him. Now, he did a rush, so this is a D6. So, all right. Towards the objective. And that's about 10 inches right here. And he's going to stop there. And then magical winds, however, pushes him another 5 inches. So he's going to go in a straight line another 5 inches. So that may be good for me because puts him right here. So he probably thought of helping his hobgoblin buddies there and totally went past the objective. So that's cool. That's cool for me. And the orcs have a victory. Victory for the orcs. All right, so here you'll notice the Raptor Rider. There's a little skull marker. He wiped out the archers that were there. Now, if we look here, what happened was the Raptor Rider did 3 hits. The defense result of the archers was 1 block and 2 wounds, as you can see there. There was also a regen roll, which was failed. If you remember, the wizard cast regeneration on the archer goblins. Well, they failed their regen roll. That means that 1 wound took out one of the models, and the other wound went to the final model, who had to do a wound check, and he rolled a 5, as you can see there. So 5 plus 1 is 6. That model was then knocked out as well. So the archers, only 2 models left on the board, were knocked out. That gave me the chance for another point at the end of round 4. Here is the location of the pig rider and the 2 hobgoblins. My mage, who, because of his proximity to the objective marker, no one gets the point. There's my leader. And for those of you that were wondering, well, the vulture came back to feed on the Orc Boss, and then he brought some friends with him. So they're all feeding on their carcass right now. All right, so that's... All right, everyone. Well, that was my game of Age of Fantasy, 1-page rules. I haven't been feeling 100% well lately, but I really wanted to get this game going. I've been edging to play a game lately. So I decided on this for solo rules, and hopefully Julie and I will bring you another game this week, depending on how Julie's feeling. We both had our COVID vaccines, and so we're kind of feeling a little off. But as soon as we get better, we will get right back into the groove. So with this game, it was very interesting how the Magic Wind environmental effect that I added from the Patreon rules, that Magic Wind extra movement across the entire board, no matter where you are, can really make a difference. It can benefit you or it can harm you. So I really wanted to try that out, and there are a lot more events that in the rules, the Patreon rules, that I want to try, especially with battle, right? Battle events. Makes the game really interesting. The other thing is that there are objective events. So that objective over there with the +1 for anyone that controlled it, including the AI, +1 melee, you know, that makes a pretty interesting difference. And then you have other things that you can make for the objectives, that you can give the objective markers, things like curses or whatever that affect, you know, your units one way or the other. So that makes a big difference. You guys enjoyed it, and I hope once I feel better, once Julie feels better, we can kind of get back to it. For now, I'll go back to my builds and everything else, but I wanted to give you guys a game to look at. All right, so the orcs defeated the Saurians, but I have to say the Saurians caused a lot of casualties on the orcs. If this game would have lasted at least one more turn, the Saurians would have probably been able to get a few more points on their belt. So Saurians are a tough army, all right? But if you're not planning to get your objectives, no matter how many orcs I killed, you know, it's all about securing the objectives. So there you go. All right, folks, have a good one. We'll talk very soon, and see you in the next video.